Welcome to another exciting episode of Doug's Electronic Repair Bench.
Evening YouTube, here with you on this Sunday evening. Kylie just left, so I do not have anybody here. My grandson's at work, and I am here to report that I did manage to find a pack of these today. Home Depot, $2, 5 fuses. I don't know if you can read that from there, but it's 5 amp. I know there's supposed to be 4, but the blown one that was in here was 6.3, so I feel fairly certain the 5 amps will be just fine. 4 amps I'd have to get online. Home Depot has them, but you have to order them. It's not something they stock. 5 amps they did, so I decided to go with 5 amps. What I'm going to do first off is just put the fuse back in, test the variac, make sure it's still fine. See no reason why it shouldn't be fine. But you never can tell, so that's why I want to test it. So let me get this set up and we'll go from there. There we go. Phew, that was kind of rough. Alright. Now the variac is down all the way. I'll turn it on. I don't know if y'all saw the I think that's just the meter comes on, it does that, so obviously it's working. There's 12 volts, 17 volts, 20 volts, so that's working. Turn that back off, and I'm going to set this up again with the without the meter connected, I don't believe this time. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this off and get it all set up, and then I'll be back. Alright, well, there's about 5 volts AC going in, and if we look over here, we have about 6.5 volts DC coming out. So that part is working, and I'm going to show you what that part is. That's right, that's all just the rectifier and the capacitor is the only thing that's hooked up. So I'm going to increase it a little bit here and see what we come up with. Up to 10 volts, a little bit more than 10, let me get back down to 10. Alright, there's 10 volts exactly. And if you look over here, there we got 15.3. So that part of it seems to be working. I'm going to call that a success on that part of it. Next thing is I'm going to do is hook up all the meter, and I'm going to put some tape over the open connections just to be sure. And so, like I said, we know we can get 15 volts DC, no problem. And again, if you put a load across that, it probably will drop it down a little bit. But I don't have anything that uses 15 volts here, so I want to see how low I can get this steady to... okay, we're not having no luck with going down because there's no load on it. So I'm still running 15 volts. If you look at it, it says 15. It's coming down, but it's slow. There's no bleeder resistor on there, so the cap's staying charged up. It's a pretty good cap. I'm down to 6.2 volts on the AC. And like I said, there's no AC current being drawn at all. So I'm going to let that come down some, and in the meantime I'm going to try to do some other stuff and get this all hooked up and see where we're going with this. So y'all stay tuned. Alright, I have it hooked up. Drawing a 1.38 amps, which is kind of high. And according to this, the DC is putting out 1.2 amps. So I don't think that's correct. So we're going to dial that back. and find out what the problem is with this. As you can see, there's no voltage at all registering. So not really sure what it is. Give me a second or two to run through this and see if I can figure out why it's doing that. The ammeter seems to be working just fine, but the voltmeter doesn't seem to be doing anything. So let me come back to you in just a second. Alright, I think I have it all sorted out. What it was the battery connection for one meter was going to the negative one with the negative on another meter, so I had them kind of switch back and forth there. So I think it should be fine now, I hope. We will find out shortly when I boot it up. And we're still not we're not getting a good something. I think either the voltmeters are gone bad or something, because I'm getting a draw of almost 2 amps and I shouldn't be. I got over 2 amps on the AC side, so let me get this off again and we'll go from there. So alright, I thought maybe the voltmeter was the problem, but I had it completely unhooked from the circuit this time. The only thing I had was the ammeter in, and as you can see, that's hooked up to nothing. The battery was not hooked up or anything else, and nothing was hooked up to that. The only thing that was hooked up was the ammeter and the battery to the ammeter, and it's connected as it was supposed to be connected. The white lead goes to the input of the or the power output, I should say, from the full wave bridge rectifier capacitor combination there. In other words, B plus is where that goes to. Then the minus goes over here to the minus, and it just basically connects to the negative side of the so unless there's a basically a short between those two, and I don't think there is, I'm not really sure what's going on. It's obvious the ammeter is still drawing. I had like 4 volts or something like that showing it was drawing 2 amps, so that's not right at all. So till I can figure this out, like I said, I kind of thought with the voltmeter might be the problem, but apparently not. You saw, like, when I had neither one of them hooked up, it seemed to work good. Now the amperage on the AC side was down, so I'm assuming, you know, it would have been on the DC too at the same time. So anywho, I don't know. I think I'm going to go ahead and unhook the ammeter from it. And the battery doesn't really do anything, but I'm going to unhook it anyway. And we'll unhook this part too. Now that's nothing at all hooked up to the meters themselves. No batteries, no nothing. Basically, I should be back to where I was a minute ago with the just the AC hooked up to the bridge and the capacitor. So I'm going to monitor the AC again and see what happens. See if I get a draw on this or not. Well, I'm not getting any draw this time. I get a little bit of leakage there. So I'm going to say the culprit seems to be that ammeter, that DC ammeter, because I'm up to 15 volts, not drawing a bit of current. So I'm going to have to assume the problem is either with the way this wire, either with the way it's wired or some other aspect that I'm missing of these meters. So I may go back and look at the original illustration that accompanied the meters and see what it says, but this is what I came up with from those drawings. Now obviously this wire was not joined to this wire, but I'm kind of hesitant about drawing or putting it over to this side, but I guess I can try that. That's really the only thing I haven't tried. And that would put the voltmeter reading here. Now, unless there's actual current going through here, or a path through here, I should say, which there should be, I won't get a reading there. But I don't see how that would make a difference. It's just a voltage reading. Whether it's taken on the beginning or the ending of that ammeter, I don't understand why that would make a difference. So that's kind of where I'm at. I guess I can go ahead and try that and see if it does make a difference. So, well, let me hook that up and see if that does anything. So, be right back. Alright, I'm back again. I feel a little stupid again. I'll tell you what. Getting used to saying that. This is the lead that comes out of the ammeter, the heavy lead, I should say. It's the positive lead. Now, black is where it screwed me up, and the little white wire there is the sensing wire for the voltmeter. So that's why there was no voltage there. I had this connected to the black on the board here, which is right there. Obviously, that was directly red going to black. That's why it was reading so high. That's why I would say blew the. Whoops, sorry. Keep hitting that. That's what blew that fuse in the first place. And so I think this time we'll try it one more time and hopefully get it right this time. So I'll bring you right back as soon as I get it all hooked up. Alright, what we have here is, let me get this over a little bit more. As you can see, I have 1.776, 175. Hopefully it'll go down to, okay, what it is the capacitor draining off. The voltage is actually reading correctly now. That's 17 volts, by the way. There's no current showing, obviously, because I don't even have it turned on right now. But this is just what's in the capacitor. I need to drain off that capacitor, and probably would be the best thing to do. Let's see. I should get a little pop out of this. Yep, a little snap. Alright, now we're down to 0. Let's go ahead and turn the variac back on. No voltage so far. And let's go up a little bit. Hey, looky there. At 2.6 input, I have 3.1 out. No current draw, either place. The ammeter on the AC panel is 0.2. So there's 3 volts, just as simple as pie. And once you get the darn thing hooked up right, let's go up a little bit more. There's 6 volts basically, and that's at 4.7 volts on the AC side. So at 6 volts, it's easy enough to get 6 volts and 3 volts. So those are 2 low voltage options I was curious about. So let's go ahead and take it on up to 12 or 9 actually. That's a little bit hard to get 9, but it's hard to go back down once you go up because of the there's no load on it. With no load on it, you're not going to get much of a drawing action. So basically, I can take it back up to 12 if I want to. There you go, 12 volts. So you can see how easy it is to get the voltage you need once you get it hooked up right. And I keep stressing that because I am so stupid for hooking it up wrong. But I am very happy that I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. I don't think there's anything getting remotely warm or anything like that. Shouldn't be. Not with this kind of load. No load, actually. Anyway, that 12 volts comes in at 9.1 volts on the AC side, 9.0. So let me turn that down, turn that off. And again, I have, it'll bleed off eventually. I can go ahead and bring it down pretty quick with the shorting of it, if I want to. So let me get this off. And like I said, everything reads right now, and the connections are proper. So I'm going to get off of this and get onto the other camera and give you a synopsis. Alright, so what we learned here is hook the darn thing up right and it'll work. I'm very, very happy that I didn't blow something up, other than a fuse, and that was fairly obvious now why that worked. If you couldn't tell from my explanation of what I did, I'll put up a diagram explaining where I made my mistake at. So the way it's wired now is correct. It works. It's reading like it should. I wanted the voltage at the binding post to be exactly what's coming out of it, and that's including if there's any draw at all from that meter, which there's not really any draw, but so that's what it is. And the ammeter is hooked up correctly now. It will read, you know, if I had a resistor, I would have put a resistor across it. You could have seen the voltage that I may do that at a later date once I get this thing all wired up. And I want to test it next once I get the switch. That's what I wanted to talk about. The switch that I bought, I did not notice this, and I don't believe it was there, else I would have noticed it. There was a note on the ad that said the buyer would be absent until the 15th of this month. Any transactions would be delayed, you know, because of that. And I went back the other day and checked it again. It hadn't been shipped, and this time I saw the notice about the 15th. So it has been shipped now. Not sure when it'll arrive, but it has been shipped. So I get it when I get it, I guess. So not gonna worry about it one way or the other. Like I said, this is pretty good. I like this a lot. I like the way it's working. I'm happy now that I've got it hooked up right. My original drawing was 100% correct. I did switch around one little switch, but that's not a big deal. I just didn't hook it up that way. So like I said, I'm going to put this drawing up there. I'm going to show you the correct way, and then I'm going to show you what I did. So you'll be able to see right away. I basically just shorted out the ammeter, put it directly across from the hot side to the cold side, and whatever was coming in was a direct draw. I mean, it was dead short, and you know, that's why I was drawing so much amperage, because you know it's not going to hurt the meter until I get over 10 volts or whatever the meter. I think or 10 volts, 10 amps. I think it was designed for 10 amps, so you know it wouldn't hurt that. But you know, that's what blew the fuse, because obviously it had a pretty big draw on it there. So also I think I want to find a suitable resistor to put across that as a drain for that capacitor. I don't want to put something on there to the point where it's going to draw down the voltage available or anything like that, but and also don't want to put a huge honking 10-watt resistor on there and like that. So I'll have to look up and figure it out and see exactly what a good resistor would be for that. If you have any suggestions, feel free to chime in, because you know I troubleshoot better than I do theory. and Ohm's law. I mean, I know Ohm's law, obviously. But, you know, sometimes I have to sit down and figure these things out. They just don't pop into my head like some of the troubleshooting things do. But anyway, it will work out, I think. So I'm glad this test was successful eventually. And like I say, I will show you exactly what I did wrong. So I hope you can see that. And I'll put a big X up on there or something that, you know, shows you that it's a dead short or something. I don't know. We'll figure out some way to put that up there. You can see what I did. So I am getting a little tired. I have been up since, actually I didn't get up till 10 o'clock today, and it's 10 o'clock now, so 9:55, close enough to 10. And like I said, I don't know what time my grandson will be home. He had to work today. He was on vacation up till today, so he's been enjoying that because he hasn't really done anything. So kids, I don't know. Did work on the Buick a bit today. Kylie used some sandpaper and worked on some places she couldn't get with the sander and things like that. And I think mainly she was out there I burned them each a CD of their favorite songs that they like to listen to, and they were out there listening to that. And so they, you know, I don't mind doing stuff like that. It's, you know. But anyway, that's so she did do a little sanding on that. I am going to get another sander. I tried out, I told you about the multi-tool, the oscillating multi-tool. That works great. There's even places it won't fit though, and they do offer a shorter, a narrower shoe, I guess is what you call it. That'll fit on that to where they get in some other places. I may try to find one of those. And I may find another sander. I like the old style that I used to have. I used to have two of them, as a matter of fact. They use a third of a sheet of regular sandpaper. You just basically cut a sheet of sandpaper into 3 pieces, and they fit right on the they clamp on that real easily, and you have, you know, like I say, you can use it's like a jitterbug. It's rotating or oscillating, what do you want to call it. But I think they get into a lot of places where the orbital sander won't get. That orbital sander with that Velcro, the Velcro is not that great. At least the one on the orbital sander. The one on the oscillating multi-tool seems to be working just fine. So I don't know exactly what the deal is, if it's bad sandpaper I got or what. But anyway, I'm going to try to do that. Been looking at the sides of it. I'm going to be able to sand more of the sides because I don't have to stand up. I can use a chair and go down through and sand that, so that'll help. I think I'm going to take the trunk off and the hood off and do them separate. Maybe the front fenders, because those both need repairing. And I think maybe one of the rear quarters around the wheel well has a place that's going to have to be repaired as well. So that'll be a little more difficult, but that'll probably be the most difficult I'll have to do. But all down the road, just thought I'd bring it up while I'm bringing other stuff up. And I'm flapping, Bill. You gotta help me out here. What do I gotta do? Can't keep going flapping. So you guys have a great evening and great tomorrow. And I really appreciate y'all watching. And until the next time, I will see ya.